the moon and what I need. Somewhat close to harmony. When the world is sound asleep, something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away.
Crass. The mastermind of this operation is Jason Levine. Class vs. Crass. With the help of his scruffy buddy, 85 to the RGT. Class vs. Crass.
Yo.
That's fine. This is the producer. That works for me.
From his realms.
Yeah. Well, you said you had that producer seducer thing you had going last time, and I'm not really feeling that.
They said they can't hear you, Jason. Yes, son.
Now they can hear me. All right, let's try that again. Good evening, all you beautiful people, and welcome to the Class vs. Crass Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Spider-Man. I mean, it's not as funny the second time, but also known as Hey Jay. To my left, we have the bearded one in the Zelda shirt, Greg, aka Dynamite Giraffe.
I'm waiting to see if your audio is... Oh, there it goes.
It is. I can see it bounce. And down below, we have Treon of the Realm. Treon.
Hello, guys.
RGT is in bed. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know how healthy he is, but he's not healthy enough to show up tonight. So thoughts and prayers to RGT. If it is your first time joining us, it is a 1 hour gaming podcast where we go over all the latest gaming news, including what we've been playing this past week. That it's not Monster Hunter or Rocket League. What is new in the headlines this past week? A lot of rumors. So because there's so many rumors and I don't like covering rumors, we're actually going to be sharing our predictions on top of the rumors of what E3 is going to be this year, considering we are about 1 month out. It's prime time for E3 speculation season. It's always a fun time to guess what's going to happen. So I encourage you all.
I don't even think the people in charge of E3 know what's going to happen at E3.
Which makes it even that much more special.
Yeah.
Mystery!
So encourage chat if you have ideas and anything. We want to know your thoughts too. And then we're going to go over headlines you may have missed. So Treon has popped up a lot of headlines, probably like 20 of them, that we're going to cover. The more interesting ones. And then we take the lightning round. That's where we take your questions, your topics, and we toss them here. If there's anything we missed, we run through them. So I'm going to ask Greg what he's been playing as I run out to get some boiling water before it burns my kitchen down. Greg, what have you been playing?
So this week went back, again, usual grind, Rocket League, some Apex Legends. Definitely liking the new season. Wasn't a big fan of the Bocek bow. That's the new bow that they introduced this season, which they didn't have any, you had, they changed to where the sniper weapons now have sniper ammo, and there's heavy ammo and light ammo and shotgun and energy. And so they added the Bocek bow this time around, and now it has its own set of arrows that you can pick up everywhere. And I wasn't a huge fan because I think I was getting myself picked off too many times, whether that's in arenas or in the regular Battle Royale game. But then I started to use it, and I play as Caustic most of the time. Switch off between Caustic and Gibby and a few others, Loba. But using the R301 and the combo of the Bocek bow is like, I mean, you're just fucking dangerous out there.
What did I just walk into? I don't know any of the words coming out of your mouth.
Out of curiosity, have you returned back to the Switch one to see if they've improved it at all?
I could not. I deleted it. I needed
kind of
space.
Figured.
Yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I did
especially
the full download of it, set myself up, and then as soon as I read the stuff online, I literally just deleted it off my system.
It's like, I mean, to put it in perspective for PC players, like the game visually is set below the low PC standards, and it still runs like garbage. And I don't even know the last time there was one update that I played a while ago that was about 30 FPS that it stayed almost consistent. But I mean, outside of that, like, the draw distance is one of the most important things to spot enemies really far away or across the map, or if, they're making their way in circle, like you want to be strategic about it. And it's really hard to do on the Switch version.
Is it
And
rocking that N64 draw distance?
yeah, it's pretty bad. And objects just look blurry. Whereas, like, even though I'm playing only at 1080p on PC, I am playing at, almost full settings, 144 hertz refresh rate because that's my monitor, 120 FPS. And so, and they did update the Xbox Series S version of it recently too. So, like, my experience is much different than the Switch, being that it's so bad.
Yeah.
And for a competitive game like that, I generally like to advance my account and unlock new things and keep playing, so I just choose to play on that platform.
Makes sense.
But outside of that, I played a little bit more of Resident Evil Village, which
Nice.
is starting to feel more like an on rails game. Very linear.
I'm not gonna have access to it, so I said screw it. I went online, was watching like playthroughs and stuff, and trying to get the whole story and everything. And I kind of got that sense watching people play. Like, people seem to be into it, but it does feel very much like a cattle shoot. Like, it moves you from point to point.
So, yeah, it's very much a more generalized experience, so that it'll bring new players in.
Yeah. So last week Sean tore it apart. He didn't like it. And you were just...
I wouldn't say he tore it apart. He said if he had to score it, it was going to be an 8 out of 10.
Did he say out of 10? I remember a lot of grumpiness.
No, because I actually made a clip that's a review discussion of you guys, and he specifically said 8 out of 10 if he had to give it a number.
Okay, I think he was disappointed then.
Yes.
And Greg, you were just starting. Oh, and he was saying it was the least scary. That's where he was coming at hard. Anyway, I came out of so I was wondering, Greg, if you were more aligned with Sean's disappointment.
I mean, yes and no. Like, especially as a Resident Evil fan, it's more of a I would say it's kind of a watered down version of Resident Evil so far. I'm only a handful of hours in, but the experience so far.
Well, you're halfway through.
Yeah, like in other Resident Evils, you're backtracking and you're trying to figure out the puzzle at hand to advance the game, in small increments, and then you get to the next section, and then it's a number of different puzzles, and then that's how you advance the game. And then Resident Evil 4 brought in this item shop where you could buy different things. Yeah. And so it kind of marries the two into this game, and as well as, because I'm constantly searching around the level anyways, there's always hidden things to find. But it's very not the traditional Resident Evil experience, nor is it as deep as Resident Evil 7 so far. I mean, there's tons of ammo. I mean, there is crafting, but it just feels like it's a more accessible Resident Evil, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I'll judge it when I roll credits and, get to experience the entire story itself. So I think, my opinion is pretty fluid at this point, but as of right now, it's just kind of like, I don't like the overly Hollywood horror type stuff elements that it has. Like, there's a talking doll, and and there's like these creatures that are, like I said, remind me of the orcs in Lord of the Rings. Whereas, like, Resident Evil itself is scary because this is a virus that is like turned people into crazy looking creatures because some company is some seedy company is like developing these bioweapons and whatnot. So I don't know. In that sense, it's like relying on more traditional lore about cryptids and stuff than it is just.
I'm going to be very curious to see what you think of where they go with the story at the end, because I have my own feelings about how that played out. So yeah. Well, I'm an old school fan of the series. And I would say 5 and 6 really threw it off the rails and pushed me away from it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, and 5 was fun for its, like, popcorn flick aesthetic. It was just like a game that you throw on and play. But I was gonna make a point, I forgot it, but whatever.
After last week's podcast, you guys were saying how you were just getting into it. Sean was disappointed, and I go on my Twitter feed and like all the bigger influencers, I like to call it kind of the old school gaming journalists that I still follow. Like it was all one after the other, just going like, "I love this game, best Resident Evil," and in that moment, I went, can I really trust these opinions? Because like,
funny, I find myself agreeing with Sean opinion wise a lot on his takes.
I usually
think
do
there's
too.
only been a handful,
except for the retro stuff. We disagree a lot on the retro stuff, it seems. But
hey, I'll take
disagree with your childhood
stuff too.
Or Metroid, or the business models of things. That's where we disagree on a lot. Anything else you've been playing that I missed?
Played a little bit of Contra on the Sega Genesis. Broke that out for a little bit. Played some Sonic 2, which I think I might play again tonight. I had a lot of fun just throwing in cartridges and looking over instruction booklets and like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. There's a certain. I was talking with a friend about this, about how like digital, it's so ethereal that you end up forgetting that you have the stuff, and like being able to go to a shelf, pull it off, look at it, flip the box over, like look through instructions and stuff. Like it's a completely different experience.
So I actually cleaned my basement for the first time, and like my basement is not a basement you hang out in. It's where stuff goes to be forgotten. And for the first time in 5-6 years, I went in there. I'm like, I got to go through all these boxes. And I finally found my Arkham City disc. So I bought this when I was out of town on sale. And it was right when I was about to move. So I never saw it again. I was like, what happened to this disc for the last 5-6 years? I just figured it was lost. I found it in a box with my skates in, and I don't skate, clearly. And
what do you mean clearly? How can you tell if you skate or not?
Because I haven't opened the skate box in 5 years.
How would we know that, though?
Wait, are they rollerblades or are they quad skates?
They're like ice skates.
Ice skates.
Well, yeah, Canadian, so
Yeah.
of course, ice.
So anyway, so that's one thing I found. So now it's up there. But I'm going to be... Does anybody here want PlayStation 3 games? I want to get rid of all my PlayStation 3 games. Really? All right, you guys are getting it. I'm going to show you what I have, and we'll
I call first dibs.
Oh.
I hate PlayStation
I have
3.
very specific ones. I have maybe I can fill and give you
Okay,
some
I'll
trades
pull
for
them out in a
PlayStation.
minute. We can go through them. The other thing is I'm going to grab something which is probably going to be one of the rarest gaming items like in gaming history, and we're going to go through that in a minute. Let me get that. But please go on with whatever.
Yeah,
you're
in
gonna
the
show.
meantime, no, I did pick some stuff up this week retro-wise.
What
but
do you got there?
Well, I wouldn't say picked it up. I waited for my friend to mail these to me. But they're
are
the,
those 80s Mario cards?
Yeah, I got the
Jesus.
the Link one, the Princess Peach one.
God, I remember those from when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think I only ever had like one pack.
Uh-huh.
But Sean was wanting me to break them open and chew the gum.
Ew, that's going to be like rock hard.
Are you chewing it right now? Come on, get those views.
But they're in like really good condition too.
Oh, I got to remember.
Yeah, you can't bring yourself to open it. I know what that's all about.
I really want to open them too. And I found some, the like kids golden books, the ones with the. I found a Sonic one and a Mario one last week.
Nice.
The golden books? Where are those?
Oh, and I bought F-Zero this week too.
They're like little kids books, but they're themed on specific characters. They did them for Star Wars, they did them for Mario, a bunch of different stuff back in the day.
Old school kids' tales and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Like 10 pages in the entire book.
First, let's get down to some business. All right, PlayStation 3 games, Arkham City. Anyone want that out of you two?
I have the Armored Edition on the Wii U, so...
Greg
I mean,
doesn't care.
Maybe.
We can talk afterwards if there's interest. Dark
What else do you
Souls.
have? I'll take it.
Greg wants a Dark Souls.
Yeah, all you.
Last of Us.
Have it.
Okay, no care. Final Fantasy 13.
No, we can't do that myself.
Infamous?
I
Maybe.
have it.
I've got the sequel. I don't have the first one.
Okay, first one was really good. See, these games I really don't care about. Killzone?
I think I have like 5 copies.
You
of
guys are
Killzone.
so enthusiastic. L.A. Noire? No?
That's a right.
I'll take it.
There you go.
I'll
you
give
call
your-
these
your
words?
I'll give your shipment some weight.
Force Unleashed 2?
You know what? I'll take that because my friend or kid will want to
You
try
guys
that.
are so enthusiastic. Just shows you what the PS3 library is.
I'm like waiting for you to bring out like something really dynamite.
No, there's nothing good. Resistance 2? No?
I'll take it.
Oh, Greg wants it. And Mass Effect 3.
Oh hell no!
Throw it in my pile.
I want nothing to do with Mass Effect.
All right.
I can do it all for $2.
And now here's the thing I found. I got this at a show. Let's see if any of you guys can even remember what this is all about.
What the hell?
All right.
Is it Small Craft Handbook?
Okay. You'll know once I maybe show something in here. So this was
I love how the what we're playing thing has really gone off the rails at this point.
okay. Actually, maybe there's nothing in here that will clearly.
Is there a-
Oh,
A
this
squiggle dick?
this will help you guys understand what it is. It's probably mirrored though. Affordable space adventure? No, you guys don't remember this?
Wait, is that the one that's on the Wii U?
It is the best Wii U exclusive game. It's the only game that made a super unique use of the gamepad. And you control this little ship. And this is the handbook that they gave out if you went to their booth at PAX
I
East.
have it digitally, but I've
that's pretty
never
cool.
like I got it as part of a bundle, but I haven't actually played it yet.
I think it's on Steam, but I don't know how they made it work on Steam
I was gonna
because
say, how the hell is that gonna work?
the whole point of this game is you control this little craft and your whole control panel is on the Wii U gamepad and you have to adjust thrusters and shields and weaponry all on the
Yeah.
gamepad. So it was a very unique, like it's probably the best example of what you can do. Why
And
are
it
you
was
laughing?
designed around having like 3 to 4 people, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember how that worked, but there was
Yeah,
multiple.
well, like a bunch of people are controlling stuff with the controllers, and you got one person who's actually like redistributing stuff on the gamepad, I think.
yeah,
The chat
so
accompanying your description is the best. Like,
it's reverted.
bruh, what is this? I'm so confused.
So this book acted as though you had just sat in the ship and you grab the user manual like out of the dash and it tells you like how to operate the ship like that. There's even like
I'm sorry.
commercials in here. Oh, there's a kids section too.
I'm
with,
all
like,
about Xenoblade, so Hans has got my vote. Xenoblade Chronicles X is the best exclusive Wii U game right now.
I'm gonna disagree on that. This
Oh,
is the
here we
best.
go.
This is the best one that makes the best use of everything of the Wii U. It shows what you could have done with the Wii U that nobody else did. Instead, Nintendo went and
what
did
you could have
freaking
done.
Kirby. Anyways, what have you been playing, Treon?
Well, speaking of old school, I'm preparing myself because my son is going to be essentially taking over my Switch when the Garage Builder thing comes out,
Oh.
because he's all about that stuff. So I've actually been weaning myself off of it and going back to 3DS. I just beat Kirby Triple Deluxe,
a good
which I
one.
was at the end for the longest time, and I finally beat it. I'm about 5 or 6 hours into Fantasy Life and digging on that. Because of our talk last week, I'm back into Resident Evil Revelations,
Yes.
and I mean I've got over 100 hours on the 3DS version, so I've already rocked the hell out of it. But it's still, that thing is a sight to behold on that system.
Hell yeah.
And Kid Icarus Uprising,
Oh yeah.
I'm back into that one.
Wow, you're juggling
and-
on quite a few games.
Yeah, my friend gives me shit about that, but I like to jump between stuff pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And I got because I was watching a stream with One Up John,
Oh yeah.
and
Shout outs to One Up John. The Retrocade, hey.
and it was strictly because he showed me that you could put the arcade games directly on the card. So I've been playing Simpsons Arcade, Turtles
Oh,
Arcade,
that's
and
awesome.
X-Men
Yeah.
Arcade.
Okay,
and
that's a
it
solid
plays
lineup.
amazing. Not only that, there was an adapter that he showed me about. It was a Mayflash PC to Wii adapter. So I'm using my Wii arcade stick with this. So I'm getting the
Wow.
arcade experience. and I only dropped like 40 or 50 bucks on it.
This is where you would pull me into the retro scene. Like I would totally play that.
Yeah. Well, I ended up taking it up to my friend's place, and we sat there and literally played for like a couple hours. We were playing through the entire Turtles game.
Oh man, that's
And it
cool.
was
With the
so
stick and
great.
everything?
Yeah, well, I didn't have the stick at the time. I'm going to
okay.
be going back up now that I've got the stick so that she can play with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, I'm pretty balls deep back into the 3DS at the moment, so.
Very cool.
Balls deep in the 3DS.
Yep, I'm
Yes.
balls deep in the
Something I
Monster
never
Hunter
thought.
lore. So now
Oh,
you
big
express yourself
surprise.
in the mid, wherever you live. I don't know what you call that slice of the
Midwest.
Midwest. Thank you.
I'm in Delaware. for
Ball-
Christ's
No,
sake.
I was referring to Greg.
Oh, okay.
Why don't they call it the Mid East? Oh, it sounds too much like Middle East, I guess.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Over in my neck of the woods, grinding Hearthstone made it to gold rank. I'm so excited. Like for the first time, Hearthstone adapted like conventional esports things. Like, you always hear people like, oh, I'm in diamond rank or I'm in platinum and all this. And I was always like, I'm ranked 25 or 20. Like that used to be the old Hearthstone, but now they've adopted and you go from copper or bronze, whatever, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, and so on. So I made it to gold. But now they nerfed my cards. The deck I had, they nerfed it, and now I don't have enough cards to make another deck to play like properly competitive. So now I'm starting to throw money at this game when I didn't want to originally, but I'm invested. That's how they get you.
Uh-huh.
Played more Minecraft Dungeons, something that my son loves to play, so we play a lot of that. And because I have Xbox Game Pass, we also jumped into Unravel 2, which is a game I had always been curious about it, but I had not had the chance to play. It's by EA. It's a 2D platformer.
Well, they published it. It's not by them.
Correct. It's for
I
those.
don't want to give them credit that they don't deserve.
Yeah. So for those who, this guy showed up at E3 with a doll once made of yarn. That's Unravel 2. Like he pulled it out of his place. He's like, so this is my game. And now it's just like, what are you doing? You are so awkward right now. Here it is.
I like that impression. Do it again.
No. I was surprisingly impressed with this game. Like I'm probably going to do a review of this because I love 2D platformer games. I hate 2D puzzle games. And this is like a cooperative 2D puzzle is how it was pitched to me.
Kirby's Epic Yarn meets Limbo, essentially, isn't it?
Okay, Limbo, I definitely see like the Limbo reference. So my biggest problem is I play fairly quick in 2D platformers. And honestly, when I play with everyone else who likes to play with me, I have to carry them, and they're just slow. And I'm a very bad I'm a bad dad, and I'm a bad cooperative person because I'm just like, this is so boring. Please keep up. That's why I don't like playing multiplayer as well as retro game. I'm a terrible person. So local co-op. That's not true because I really did love playing Streets of Rage co-op, and I also love playing Monster Hunter co-op. So certain games. But this one, the 2D platformer, lets me play comfortably at my speed. And it's very parkourish where like you jump, you swing, and it's all about the swinging physics. And the game never holds you back. Like even though you're tied to the other player can either jump on you and you can like run fast, or if like you do a part that's very, very fast and the other player doesn't want to keep up, they can just push a button and like climb up the thread and catch up with you. And then there's part like you actually have to stop and like figure it out together. So the pacing worked very well for different skill level in a way I have never seen in a 2D platformer before, where I was actually enjoying myself quite a bit, and my son was enjoying himself a lot, and we were just having a good time doing all the things. And he was trolling me too. He's like, come on, keep up, old man. And like he's 12 now, so he's starting to get some attitude.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
So I recommend it if you haven't tried it. Like it often goes on sale. It's on Game Pass, and
Yeah, it goes down to $5 all the time on the Switch, but I'm pretty steadfast that I want a physical, and EA keeps dragging their ass on that. So
yeah, there's also the first one. I don't know how well that is, but the second one actually.
I've heard good things about the first one as well, but the co-op aspect of the second one is what got a lot of people on board with it. So
okay, just the swinging mechanics, I love it. So like so at any point, one can stop and be the anchor. So like I'll stop and be like, okay, you jump off the platform, and then they jump, and then like when they're at the right length, like I hold them back, and then they can do the swing, and it just flows so well. Highly recommend.
There was one on the Switch, Super Chariot or something like that,
Not
that had
familiar
a
with
similar type of. Hold on a sec. You can go on. I'm trying to remember the damn name of it.
Okay. That was. I still have to try that Unforgiven. Unforgiven says Bubba
Yeah,
is you.
Super Chariot. It's a similar thing where it's all physics-based. It's a 2D side
Oh,
scroller,
wait a
and it's
minute.
two-player co-op, and you have to like move the king's coffin through the levels, and they're very maze-like.
Yes, I played it single player.
Yeah, that one's a good two-player as well.
I didn't like it so much.
Oh yeah, that very good 2-player game. I played it single player.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I didn't like it.
Jesus.
I played that on the Wii U actually.
Best
Back in
use
the
of
day.
the gamepad.
No, terrible use of the gamepad.
Oh, so it wasn't a kick beat type score game?
Oh, is that going to be the running joke here now? My kick beat? I swear,
I do love
you guys
that he
need to
threw
try
that,
it.
Sean threw that up as a link last week.
Troll. All right, that's enough about the games we've been playing. I think that's all I've been playing. That's and then the Monster Hunter stuff. But you guys can check out the journals over on Hey Jay for that, where I document my whole journey of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Huh?
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay. I finished the DLC of Monster Hunter World, by the way. So I just finished the story. Now I'm in the end game content of Monster Hunter World, and it's a game that just keeps on giving and giving and giving.
Welcome to the end game.
Yes, that's a very nice voice, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into our major headline, being the rumors of round E3. We'll just say the rumors around E3. Focus a bit on Nintendo because all the other companies are usually more predictable. And we'll also talk about our own predictions. So every year, Sean and I would share our predictions. Greg joined us for the first time last year with his predictions. And this will be the first year Treon joins us for sharing his predictions.
I don't even know what my predictions are.
Well, you have 2 minutes to figure it out right now.
I have less predictions and more hopes.
Well, let's start with the rumors, and maybe they will stimulate your speculative mind. The first one is there's apparently a new Donkey Kong Country being developed by the Super Mario Odyssey team.
All that.
I know that there's been a lot of back and forth about the 2D versus 3D on that. I know everyone's expecting it to be 2D, but at that point, why not just leave it with Retro and let them continue on with the Donkey Kong Country series because they did just fine? I personally want a 3D Donkey Kong. It's been long enough. Let's see it happen.
You want a 3D Donkey Kong?
Yes.
What could 3D Donkey Kong offer that Mario Odyssey could not? What would be the gimmick?
Well, for one, cut back on the amount of characters because that was a damn nightmare on Donkey Kong 64.
But I think that's one of the unique play aspects of Donkey Kong.
No,
64.
there are too many collectibles because
I mean, I
of
guess
that.
they could. I think that a 3D Donkey Kong, I think, would do well. I would be in favor
In
of
this
a 3D
era.
Donkey Kong. Yeah, and being that, especially, this is you have the Mario Odyssey team working on it versus Retro, which would probably, I mean, I'm sure they've got other projects on their hands, and maybe this is, who knows if they're not still contracting or consulting with Retro, given the previous titles and stuff. But I do feel like a 3D Donkey Kong developed with something unique and different, which is the Odyssey team seems like the perfect team to handle something like that. I think could do very well.
Well, stop me if I'm wrong, but I think that team was the same one who also worked on Jungle Beat, and that game was like, that's a hidden gem on the GameCube. Like, I know people make fun of it because of the bongos, but that game really worked well with the whole bongo thing, and I played the living crap out of that one. So
Which one's Jungle Beat?
that was the one where you had the bongos and you had the clap to, and
I
it was
thought
like
it
a
was
side
just Donkey
scroller.
Konga.
It was
oh,
a-
it's
it was
Donkey
a-
Konga Jungle Beat.
Yeah, it was a 2D platformer with,
Yeah.
and then they re-released it on the Wii with motion controls.
Yeah, but without the bongos, the bongos really added something to playing that one because I have both.
I have 2 sets of bongos.
But do you have the
Yeah.
game, or do you just have bongos?
I have Donkey Konga 1 and I think 2.
I have the two Congos, and I have Jungle Beat on both the GameCube and the Wii.
I have none. I actually have not played it.
Konga.
But that's what I mean. Like, it was very original and unique, and then you look at Odyssey, and that one brought a lot of new stuff. So I don't know what I would want to see, but I think that they could really surprise me and bring something that I wouldn't expect, and I'd be on board with it, like seeing where they take it for a 3D.
So the pros I see is 3D, the 3D genre is kind of in its renaissance right now. You have the ukulele, you've got, what else that came out? You've got the Spyro trilogy, Crash Bandicoot games, which, if you want to call it 3D platforming, I don't
now
know.
you could.
So
Balan Wonderworld. I mean,
the
Super
Doors,
Lucky
sir.
Tail.
Yeah, Super Lucky
If we're
Tail.
going with good games.
Yeah.
well, I think now the technology to make those games is more accessible.
Yeah, indies can now do it. So
Yeah.
what was the one with the little
Hat in Time.
the girl with? Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
So there, I think there's a market for it. Donkey Kong Country, we've seen it. Like, we've seen two fantastic entries where it's like, just bring those again. Like, you're not going to do any. The graphics are so advanced and the gameplay is so tight. I don't think you need to make a third one. Like, if you bring those two back, and a 3D version, I think, allows Nintendo to kind of clean up its IP ownership. Like, Donkey Kong 64 is when we really saw the Donkey Kong family kind of expand properly. Is that fair to say? Like, they were adding characters in Country, but I feel, well, 64 is the first time you were playing like properly with like unique mechanics of all the different Kongs. So this would be a good time to kind of refresh the IP. Now the Kong, would be, Super Mario Odyssey was developed over 7 years. So that came out in 2017. So it's been already 4 years. So it could be possible.
But think about, they wanted to take Mario in a new direction. I bet there were some barriers to actually put Mario Odyssey into development or deploy a lot of the mechanics and elements to the game that made it so different. I bet there were some feet dragging at Nintendo from traditionalist developers there. But I think, once they, is like proof of concept that they could execute on this unique styled game, and maybe they've had these, different things planned for the Donkey Kong series for a long time, and this was just their way to shuffle out their Mario Odyssey project and then start work on this other unique branded Donkey Kong game. And plus, like, at this point, I think we've had enough 2D Donkey Kongs on relevant modern-ish systems, so I think it's like the only route left to take.
They never ported the original Returns to Switch, right? We only have Tropical Freeze there.
Returns was on the Wii and the 3DS.
And the Wii U.
No.
Was it on
Well,
the Wii?
you could digital or
Right.
through the virtual console, but in terms of like standalone ports, you had the Wii and then you had the 3DS version.
Okay, so they could definitely port it to the Switch. How much did Tropical Freeze? I think Tropical Freeze did decent on the Switch, so I'm surprised we didn't see the other one come back.
Well, it's kind of in this weird, because you had the motion controls that were tied to the better visuals, and there's, I think, 60 FPS on the Wii, whereas it was no motion, but 30 FPS on the 3DS, and it was a whole weird thing.
So
one of the things oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, the sales for Tropical Freeze is 2 million as of 2019 on the Switch.
I'm just going to come out and say it. If they had priced it properly at $40, that probably would have been double to triple those numbers.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to say?
I was going to say, you were talking about the dev time, but you got to take into account that Mario Odyssey engine, that would be perfect. It's already built, and it was a brilliant engine specifically for that game, so I could easily see Donkey Kong being plugged into it.
Yeah, and it was also, the Wii U era, I think, was a very pivotal moment for Nintendo. They shared how they struggled with the adoption of HD graphics. That was one of their challenges that they overcame in that development time of Mario Odyssey. Their online, forget it, they haven't overcome that. But there was also the passing of the torch, I think, to a lot more teams As we saw with Splatoon, there was like a lot of kind of new juniors on the rise. So I think if there was a 3D Donkey Kong game, for sure, it would probably be released probably in less time than 7 years.
Yeah.
Let's go to
I think
space. Donkey Kong in
3 to
space.
4 years, I think, would be very reasonable for a solid 3D Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, and plus if they positioned it to release holiday, I mean,
You
that
think
could
it's
be
happening this year?
I don't know if it would be a big headlining title for them, but I feel like that would be like in a September-October title.
And I suspect they could do so much because like they introduced like Pauline. I think they'd bring back Pauline in that universe. Maybe have New Donk City play a bigger part. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it was like another racing game, which I don't think they would do because it would kind of cannibalize their Mario Kart. But
Unless it was a very unique idea.
Yeah. Although it would give them an excuse because they don't want to touch Mario Kart, and it would be far enough removed that it would allow them to do another type of kart game, but not have to be Mario Kart. So it wouldn't cannibalize
and maybe if
those
they
sales.
have stuff that they would have put in Mario Kart that were not necessarily throwaway ideas, but ideas that wouldn't fit the
track builder. Oh, sorry.
think
I've been wanting them to do a track builder.
I mean,
for
that could be
ages.
I think that could bode well with a lot of people being, the same team that brought this like uniqueness to Mario does that for the racing genre.
Well, I think we had talked about like an open world racing game, right? Diddy Kong Racing kind of had that open world and the boss elements that could be taken to so much like greater heights with the technology we have now, compared to what you could do on the N64. Like imagine an open world Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
And actually that could blend well with a 3D Donkey Kong where there's maybe it's an open world 3D Donkey Kong game with vehicles in it. So that way you're getting the best of both worlds.
Or you could go, I mean, if we're going to the 3D platformer route, we could actually have it as a legitimate crossover where you start in New Donk City as Donkey Kong interacting with all those people.
Oh, yeah.
And then it goes out into, so you get kind of that crossover between the two.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love that.
This would work so well. And there's so many open world games I think of where there are racing segments where I see like, I'm thinking of Lego Avengers where you like run around New York and there's like race segments. Could do the same thing, but in a bigger world. Run it, Nintendo. Giving you all these ideas for free.
Although all we're doing is getting our hopes up because sure as hell this ain't going to happen.
It's going to be something with a banana controller that you have to like move and
Well, I
like
don't know
mark
if it'd be
into.
cool.
They're
that
just
weird.
like the original Donkey Kong classics are back. It's like,
They seem
yay.
kind of risk adverse nowadays.
With
so.
this functional banana phone
Yeah.
that you need 3 wires to talk into.
Banana phone.
Next, this is an interesting rumor. A new 2D Metroid game is finished with development.
I'm excited as hell if this is true.
Doubt. Press X to doubt.
Yeah, I know.
By Mercury
I mean-
System, too.
Yeah. I'm hesitant with them because I have a 50-50 with them. Like, I didn't like their Lords of Shadow crap, but I did like Metroid 2 on the 3DS. I would be on board. I think it should be at most a $50 title. If it's gonna, I mean, I would go to 40 because I would have to imagine the budget wasn't going to be that high for this type of game.
Nintendo's going to try to milk it.
I know.
They
If
should.
they did
what
something
saddens
really cool
me.
with like a different art style or something like that, then I think they could get away with it. If it looked like
I would want really stylized. Could you imagine something that
Yeah.
looks like a mosaic painting or something?
Cell shading would look nice.
That too. Anything cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, every week there's a new Metroid rumor, whether that's Prime, whether that's a 2D, what team's working on it. And like, I just want to arrive at the day when they have the presentation. And
Wasn't the last 2D Metroid revealed during a Treehouse segment? Like it wasn't even during a direct.
I believe so.
The direct was
Yeah,
done, and they're like, "Okay, let's go to Treehouse. Hey,
It
here's
was
a
like
Metroid
literally, I
game."
think the first thing that came up on the Treehouse, and that was in 2017.
Yeah, we're like, "Wait a minute, that's a 2D Metroid game." Why? And they're like, "Here's some
Everyone was
amiibo."
excited as hell for it, but yeah, they should have had it in the
And
main
then it sold
presentation.
200,000 units, so
Yeah. No, it sold better than that.
it didn't sell very well. Metroid, what was it called? Return of Samus?
Samus Returns.
Samus Returns.
I
If
thought it
Sean was
was
here,
at least-
he'd be yelling at you as how low
I
it's.
know.
He
He'd
quoted
be
me the
screaming.
numbers so many times.
Pissing and moaning like normal.
He's always pissing and moaning. He's probably pissing and moaning. He probably wakes up in the morning, sees himself in the mirror, and yells at himself like, "Still here." 470,000 physical copies.
Okay,
You're
that's what
still
I
here.
thought. So it about 500,000, and that's not bad for like a really late stage 3DS title that was like right at the point when the Switch was like on fire.
For a Nintendo first party, and it came out.
For a Metroid, it's on par with what I would have expected.
Hold on.
That's why I said they need to keep the cost and budget down
Yeah.
if they're going to do another one.
When did this launch?
It was 2017, I think September.
Oh, that is a terrible time to launch.
Yeah. That's why I said 500,000 copies in like the absolute peak of where the Switch was like on fire and the 3DS
Breath
was all
of the
but dead.
Wild, and then you had
Yeah.
right between Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. It's like here's Metroid. Why aren't you buying it?
Exactly. The SNES Classic came out at that same time.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Yeah, given those numbers, like it's not as bad as I would have expected. Plus, the budget would have been much lower for a 2D title.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair point. I think
Yeah.
you put that same game on the Switch and it doubles its numbers. Like you just
Oh yeah, I
take
don't
it-
know why they haven't taken Samus Returns and done an HD version, because I played that again recently, and you jack those visuals up to HD and just plop it on the Switch, you'd probably get 1 million, 1.5 million sales out of it, no problem.
Oh yeah, with the love of Metroidvanias these days.
Yeah.
But you have to price it right because there's so
Yes,
many
that's
Metroidvanias at the $20,
$40.
$30 price
I'm
point.
standing at 40. Yeah.
It's hard because you got like Metroid at this point, I would say is almost as valuable as Shantae. Like the Shantae is just as old as Metroid. And Shantae is never priced above $30. And it's a good Metroidvania.
Very
Sure,
good.
it's very different than the Metroid storyline, but like Nintendo has not maintained enough. You sell the 2D stuff at a reduced price. You sell your Prime at a Prime price, and you're good.
Yeah. They need to realize what the series is and play to those strengths. But
Yeah.
they, like you said, they get greedy and they're like, oh, let's just slap a $60 and then, oh, why doesn't it sell? Why the hell do you think it doesn't sell?
So Han says Hollow Knight is fierce competition, which I agree with
Yes.
you, except Nintendo has heavily invested in Silksong, the sequel. So Nintendo pretty much controls when that releases, since they are
That
the
thing
purse.
is going to sell a butt ton when it comes out.
Do you have any concerns it'll flop because of the hype
No.
being so high?
Because it's going to be a limited window. So they'll probably have PC and Switch right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Like Switch will be its console exclusive. And then like a year or two later, it'll be able to go on the others. And I have no doubt that it'll probably sell like probably a couple million copies, I'd guess.
Oh, for sure. I think the fact that Silksong is so quiet gives me confidence that they know what they're doing. Because they're like,
Well,
we
they're-
don't even need to tease you. We know you want it.
Yeah.
Let us work on it.
They're doing they're doing the Prime 4. I mean, Prime 4 had it had different issues, but I'm just saying, like, Nintendo didn't come out and show gameplay footage or anything. They just said, it's coming.
Oh, I was talking
just
about
let it lie.
Silksong.
Yeah, and then Silksong did the same thing where they're like, it's coming, and then they just shut up, and
Yeah.
it's ready when it's ready, and I'm fine with it.
And then next month they're like, hey, July, pick this up.
Yeah.
Just like they do with Paper Mario.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
It's not like that crap with, like, Spider-Man where they announce it, like, 5 years ahead of time and show you every piece of footage for, like, those years leading up to it.
No, PlayStation loves to
been
milk
my-
its games.
Yeah.
Well, even right now during the pandemic, that's been my least favorite thing about presentations is just this constant beating of dead horses for games, like just
Yeah.
showing the same footage and blah blah blah, and then we see it again. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, I know you have nothing else to share with us. Like, why
Well,
share
that's-
this again?
That's why I like that the indies have now gotten to a point where they can kind of act as that filler, and like some of the companies don't realize it. It's like, just let the indies talk about what they're doing, and when you're actually ready to show something, show it to us.
Yeah. I think a game that has a legacy specifically to it, you show it once as the teaser, like Breath of the Wild 2. It's coming. So you're like, I'm
Yes.
in. And then as you get closer, like within the 12-month window, I'd even say 6-month window of launch. Okay, here are the new mechanics. Because you already know the people like who saw the Breath of the Wild 2, you know, we know we're getting it, all of us here. Then before launch, okay, let's show the gimmicks. What's going to be new, and that might get like a whole other wave of people who maybe didn't like certain gimmicks of the first one, and then you launch it. That's it. That's all you need. 2 big presentations.
Well, like Hans is saying,
Yeah,
how
so
many
simple.
Halo Infinite trailers have we seen?
Actually, we have not seen that many Halo Infinite trailers.
Yeah, but they've talked about it pretty consistently, and they have given enough teasers, and it's been.
Yeah, but I think
What was
they're
the
in a,
last? Oh, sorry,
they're in a
go ahead.
different position though. They have Halo Waypoint where they can, update on microblogs, and like they just announced some different like armor and stuff, and I just saw they had to update this last week. So I think that they're able to manage the Halo IP and releases in a more I wouldn't say strategic way, just in like a different way.
I guess different games have different ways. Like if you remember Brawl, is it Brawl? Smash Brothers Brawl. They had a daily update of that for 3 years with the dojo, and it worked for that format. And then they never did it again, and that was okay too.
Well, they switched over to making a big deal out of each one of the reveals. Like the Wii U one, that was like
Yeah.
the big thing, where every couple months they would show like another reveal of a character.
And now they're milking it like crazy on Switch every like 3-4 months.
Yep.
So, okay, other rumors we have. Apparently, the OLED display is back
Yep.
in the cycle about the Switch Pro. Was mentioned during a Q1 investor call. Is that correct?
Yeah, that one is like, it was in an official, like not a public thing. That was in an investor call, but it was actually mentioned by name, which I think it's one of the first times that it's actually been said by someone behind the scenes that here's an official, it's coming, but they haven't gone much further than that. I mean, the OLEDs are pretty much a given at this point, so.
For sure.
Yeah.
You hurt me with this headline. We're getting a new Fatal Frame game,
No, that hurt me.
but it's a pachinko. It's a pachinko
Yes.
machine.
When I saw that, because I've been begging for the Fatal Frame series to come to the
Pachinko.
Switch. Yeah, and that was and it's so odd because I would have expected that from Konami with like Castlevania or Silent Hill,
Yeah.
but to see Tecmo Koei and freaking Nintendo essentially do that, because Nintendo co-owns that IP,
Right.
it's like, come on, guys.
If you love the Switch calculator, you'll love
Oh my god, what was that? A $10 calculator?
you'll love the Fatal Frame pachinko machine.
Yeah.
Other let's. I'm gonna focus. We're getting 10 minutes left. We'll go through the Nintendo headlines and drop a few more of our predictions.
As I said, I got free time if you need it.
I do not, not too much. But other Nintendo headlines. So Nintendo Switch is actually its production is still struggling to keep up with demand, which is crazy. Oddly enough, I've stopped using my Switch except for Monster Hunter Rise. I play everything else on PC now.
What in, Jason?
Oh, no,
Welcome,
don't
welcome.
Because
start
I
this crap.
have Game Pass on PC, Monster Hunter World's on PC, and what else do I do on PC? What did I say? Game Pass, World. What's the third reason?
Dude,
Hearthstone.
Game Pass on PC is the best,
Epic.
especially like now that I have the Series S, I can some games cross progression.
Yeah.
Just hop over.
And I stream the output to my TV, so I go on the couch. My son sits here for like co-op game. Like it's perfect. Everything just works. Monster Hunter Rise is still hitting record profits, so everything's good there. There's a rumor about Sega re-releasing Sonic 3 and Knuckles in a new Sonic collection, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that
And some
supposedly they
super game
worked
that
out
they're
that
working on.
whole Michael Jackson soundtrack thing.
Well-
So that's what's been holding it up for ages, is that whole music rights crap. So
Yeah, that'll be awesome to play. That was one of my favorite Sonic games. Dragon Quest 35th anniversary stream will be revealing new game information. So if you're a fan of Dragon Quest, that is
hopefully
happening.
we get 12 announced.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And probably a bunch of spin-offs. So that's happening May 29th. That,
I'll
I,
have to break that down.
that IP is going strong. We just got a
Oh, yeah.
subscription from Soul Evil. Got the alerts back up.
You. Sweet moves.
What else we have? We've got, just seeing for anything that's really kind of cool. If you're into collecting, a rare SNES SA1 demo cart has been found and preserved, but I don't know anything about that. Is it?
Yeah, well, the SA1 it's a pretty nice performance chip, and if you, like, some people have actually gone back and applied that chip's data to older games. So if you play Mega Man X, Gradius 3 with the enhancement, there's like no frame rate hiccups or anything. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
And then the last headline I want to cover is just the fact that Target had to suspend sales of Pokemon trading. What are you guys doing in the U.S. where Pokemon cards and Kinder Surprises are more dangerous than guns? Not to get into
capitalism has
that.
to ruin it for everyone. So it's
My God.
everyone's going nuts and yeah.
Like, what's happening? Are they going to Target and punching people in the face to take Pokemon
I'm sure
cards?
there are.
Really?
I'm sure they're getting stolen more than anything.
Yeah, it's the Pokemon cards are like insanely hot again, and everyone's going nuts. Because, I mean, did you see the thing with the cereal? Like
People were buying cereal to get the
Yeah,
cards?
to tell them to stop.
Kellogg's had it, and like one guy filmed himself going into, I think it was a Walmart, and there's just pallets of them. You see like 20 or 30 boxes just ripped open. Someone had stolen all the cards out of them.
How much are these cards worth? Like
It's
$10?
Scalper market.
Okay, what's
Dude,
scalper
I saw a
market?
picture and they were spider wrapped on the shelves
Oh, jeez.
with security wraps.
Yeah.
Pokemon card price. Like these things cannot be that expensive right now.
Yeah, there you go. My friend was
they're
talking
pretty
about someone
expensive.
pulled a gun on a Target employee over Pokemon cards.
What? What?
Yeah.
To be like, let me buy Pokemon cards, or
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I don't understand.
People
understand.
are stupid.
I know people hoard toilet paper,
Yep.
putting gasoline in
Actually-
plastic bags,
Oh my
and they want to
God.
come out and tell us aliens are real.
Okay, I actually don't know how much does a gun cost? Like, what is the average price of a handgun?
I don't know. I haven't shopped recently.
Like, is it not a common piece of knowledge for Americans? Like, are we talking $100, $500, $1,000? $5?
I'm sorry, I'm not up on my my gun info.
Like, I have no idea what a ballpark gun price is, but I imagine if you can afford a gun, like a Pokemon card is probably not that high of a priority in your finances. So it's 400 to 600, says Irish
Irish Rose, that's my friend.
Irish Rose. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So it's about it's the price of a console. Are
Yeah.
these Pokemon cards like the price of a game? I would not imagine. So they're like promo cards, right? They're not like just your everyday.
They have promo cards in the Kellogg's or whatever. I got some for my son, and it's like got 3 of the promo cards that are exclusive to whatever the hell they're doing with Kellogg's. But I mean, the same thing happened earlier this year with McDonald's when they ran and people were buying 20 Happy Meals at one time when they had like 3 packs of cards in there.
I bought like 20 of the toys when they had the toys.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a Pikachu here, which looks like a promo from December. It's selling for about almost $200. So I mean, if you're gonna buy $5 cereal and maybe get $200, I
Yeah.
could see that causing some.
I
hysteria.
used to work in a card shop and collectibles and comic book stuff, but I was one who took care of handling all the Pokemon cards there, so I had to actually check out to see if they were real or not, because there's a huge market of people who made fake cards out there. So
Right.
yeah, so I had to sit there with a little magnifying lens, because it's like a little black strip that can
Oh
only be
my
on the
goodness.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass. But some of those cards, I had binders all set up and organized for them, and some of those cards were like $50, $60 for a single card. Some of them went up to a couple hundred.
Wow.
Yeah, one of our friends, Eli, posted on Twitter that one of his old cards that he had in his childhood pack of Pokemon cards, which was only 15 years ago because he's a teenager.
He's always gonna be a teenager.
But one of his was worth, he said, $1,000.
Wow. Oh, they're like hockey cards or any other kind of card and collectible.
Well,
Hockey cards.
what was the Charizard first edition from the original
The
series?
foil Charizard.
Yeah, that's
that's
God. What was that? Like a couple 100,000? Someone sold one for last year.
it's pretty ridiculous. Meanwhile, all my
Yes.
Star Wars cards are now pointless, useless. I have
Yeah.
thousands of them. I'm like, why am I keeping this? They've
Oh.
dropped in complete value at this point.
Disney went out of their way to dig a huge hole and bury that license
So
in
I'm
terms
gonna-
of popularity.
So that's another thing going on in my basement. All these Star Wars cards. They if this is the craze, they It's a missed opportunity that the Pokemon Company is not making, although they do have an online trading card game for it, for like tablets and stuff. They should bring that to console. Maybe have like a little campaign mode for like Pokemon trading card. Like, remember there was one on Game Boy?
It's not the same. That card shop, they were big on Magic, and there is a Magic game, but the digital format versus people. I watch people drop hundreds of dollars on a single card for Magic.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not going to make a difference.
Well, it's a different market, I think, because you have the collector, which is what I used to be. I used to collect more than I play card games. Now I play more than I collect. It's more for the one who the audience wants to play. Like, think about it. If Nintendo wants to sell their Switch Online, make a card game. It's not hard on the online side of things. You say if you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, you get access to a Pokemon card game. Boom. You just sold.
Until they remove it after the anniversary date is up.
Yeah.
Like idiots.
So I'm going to
Man,
say...
if they did that like an Animal Crossing style where you get like, a random card pick once a month or something like
or
that.
themes or something. They could.
Ooh,
Or,
money.
you pre-order this Pokemon Snap game, you get 3 booster packs for your digital collection.
Yeah.
I mean, they have what Fire Emblem. They could make an entire like card game around that.
They could. They could make Nintendo All-Stars card game. Like, I mean, why stop at one IP? Just make it a global IP thing. Actually, that would be probably make more sense. I just think Pokemon would have more momentum right now.
I mean, Pokemon, they own a third of that, so they're already making bank off of that.
All right, so we never actually said it, but predictions for E3. So we have 3D Donkey Kong, 2D Metroid. I'm going to toss in Pokemon cards or some online service card game. Silk Song, we've already said, and I'm going to say...
You keep wishing for that.
I mean, everyone keeps wishing for it.
Yeah.
It has to come. We're going to be right eventually. And I think Breath...
It's like the Metroid idea. We keep saying it'll be right eventually.
And I think
Manifest it.
I think Breath of the Wild 2 and probably a Zelda... Something we can't predict about Zelda for the anniversary, like a spin-off Zelda game.
Yeah, there's got to be something good in there. Like, I really hope that, I mean, it's as much focus as they had on Breath of the Wild, however many E3s ago. Like, I hope they, put that same attention and care into whatever this next Zelda is.
What was that? That was E3 2016, where the entire show was nothing but Zelda.
That's all they had.
Yeah.
That's all they needed.
Breath of the Wild. I mean, I'm on board with that. If I were picking a secret Zelda title that I would like to see, I personally would rather them wait on like the Wind Waker and the Twilight Princess stuff for like another year or two.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I'm fine with waiting. Give me Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages in the Link's Awakening engine. That new one.
Yeah, I don't like that engine.
Well, obviously smoothed out so it doesn't have the frame rate hiccups, like a solid 60 FPS.
I don't want to see that crafty like thing at all. I'd rather see like more of a 16-bit style, more Link to the Past or Between Worlds style.
Well, then I would rather a whole new game at that point, as opposed to a remake of the Oracles.
Oracle remade in the Between Worlds style, I think that'd be perfect. Like colorful, bright, more still pixelated art style.
I guess. Personally, see, I liked what they did with. I just think there's some refinement with Waking Engine. I like that cutesy style that they went with on that.
I find the charm wears off quick on those crafty type games.
Well, you also soured yourself by jumping right into hardcore mode, which is essentially kick you in the balls mode.
Yeah, and as someone who doesn't like getting kicked in the balls, it was a very bad idea.
Yeah. See, I started on the other and absolutely loved playing through.
I have yet to complete it, in fact, because I'm just like, I don't want to go back to that. It hurts.
Bayonetta, I feel like we're going to see something. At this point, we have to see at least a little something from Bayonetta.
Do you think we're going to see what Monolith Soft? Anything from Monolith Soft?
That's my personal hope, because Xenoblade and my adoration of that.
That's been 4 years.
Yeah, personally, I'm fine if they just do a remake of X, but I would prefer to see Xenoblade Chronicles X2 or some type of Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I think whatever Monolith Soft brings, I think it will still be like a year and a half, 2 years out.
They could fill in that stopgap like with
Well, you
with a
take into
port of the
account-
Wii U.
I mean, they're the last one from them without them working on other titles, because they helped with Animal Crossing. They've been helping with Breath of the Wild 2. It's been 2017, 2018 since they've put out anything new.
What about the remake of
I don't really count that. That was like a small
that's work.
team off to the side.
Okay. They've
Yeah.
expanded to like 3 big teams, I think.
Yeah. And supposedly the composer of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just wrapped up won't say what it is, but just wrapped up a massive project with there were something like a couple hundred tracks
Okay.
that they've been recording for like the last year or two.
And I
So,
think
It's like
that's
an RPG to me.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think the musical composition is usually towards the end of production. I'm completely talking out of my hat here. But how about you, Greg?
Go ahead.
Anything do you think we're gonna get any kind of hardware or anything fun from Nintendo specific?
It's weird because I feel like they should should say, I mean, as much as people know what's going on because all these reports and leaks and like third party confirmations on OLED screens and things like that. Like I feel like they should say something, but do it in a very tactful way that doesn't like destroy their current user base of Switch owners, because I would assume that there's a decent number that only recently became Switch owners because of, you know, the current situation of the world. And, you know, why shoot yourself in the foot when they're barely keeping up with production right now? But at the same time, that might be a good way to transition to, you know, future endeavors, especially if the Switch, I almost said Wii U, if the Switch is, you know, part of the problem of them not ramping up manufacturing for whatever the next generation is. So it's hard to really tell, you know, what to do with hardware at this point, because I mean, it'll just be like, I mean, I'm sure they take notes from the Xbox launch, the PS5 launch. I mean, they confirmed that, you know, hardware scarcity for the PS5 is going to go on into 2022.
Wow.
And, you know, outside of that, you know, you have GPU shortages, and despite AMD working on the Series X and the Series S and the PS5, you have NVIDIA that's responsible for the Switch, and even they, too, have fallen into the same boat just because of semiconductor shortages. So it's hard to really tell, you know. I feel like people are in need of a Switch upgrade. You know, like we were talking about earlier with Apex Legends, like that's a very well optimized game that's running on its like beyond lowest settings on the Switch, and it can't even hold a steady 30 FPS.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a developer thing or if it's a hardware obstacle, but
Do you think?
Some,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, some of the other, I mean, Warframe, that game actually runs pretty brilliantly on there. So I have to think that the team is having trouble getting it optimized properly for the system. Because Warframe still shocks me that it runs as smooth as it does and looks as it does on Switch. And stuff like Paladin, Dauntless, and stuff like that, those all run great. So,
Do you guys think that there's enough of a lineup for the rest of the year for Nintendo, even though, like, recognizing our biases of we all have different affinities for games? Do you think from Nintendo's point of view they have a solid lineup? So to recap, they've got the game Builder Garage in June and Mario Golf. So that's kind of their June lineup. They've got Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I'm going to say is a big one for July, along with Skyward Sword. So they've pretty much got June, July locked up. And they've got a Pokemon Shining Pearl and Brilliant Diamond. Probably that's going to be one of their holiday titles.
that'll be November, no doubt. And that'll sell a butt ton.
Right. So they've got kind of a massive holiday title already. And they've got the summer kind of lined up already. It's a little sparse. I think we're still missing so right now, August, September, October, November, December. So out of those 5 months, let's take one out. Out of 4 months, it's still light. So we'll probably do you guys think 1 or 2 in there?
I think if Breath of the Wild does happen this year, That's going to be their other November title.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, No More Heroes 3. See, I just have this gut feeling, like if they do that Metroid, like
Yeah.
a 2D Metroid, that would be like a September title, if I'm guessing.
Yeah, I feel too. Like we'll get that light, I
Yeah.
call a Metroid, a 2D Metroid. I call that like a light Nintendo, and then a heavy hitter as their holiday, IP. So probably two big ones.
I know
Donkey Kong?
Sean was
Maybe.
talking about a potential Super Mario Party 2.
No.
Yeah, that was in his video where he was talking about that could be a possibility based on the rumors. Honestly, I think that would be more of a next year title because
I
they
think
just
so.
put the online into the other one. So
Yeah, and they're probably I've probably seen that like sell better and.
Maybe
I mean,
it's-
if I'm going for like a deep hope for myself, I kind of want a Fatal Frame collection in October.
Oh
I
yeah.
hate the fact that they haven't done it, but I'm like, just give it to us.
Do you think they could ever do a Mario Party expansion? Or do you think maybe like even the online points to some sort of expansion?
Well, if the online is done well, they could just announce a Super Mario Party expansion pack for $20-$30, and that'll be like an end of the year type launch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they could milk that a little bit more.
Because I mean, I'm still shocked that thing sold over 14 copies. So
Wow, I didn't realize it was that high.
yeah, it's insane.
That's like their best-selling Mario Party game ever. No?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think Breath of the Wild is over 20 some odd million copies. Like it blows away every other Zelda in history.
That's so crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it with Metroid. Come on.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up, or anything from the audience in terms of thoughts, topics? Well, more thoughts on topics. I don't think we can get into a new topic, or your own predictions for this year.
Let's see. I mean, as I said, I'm just hoping for Xenoblade.
Have you guys seen the Resident Evil 8 puppet show on Capcom's YouTube? I have not.
No. Oh, you missed the one thing. Did you hear? Where was the bit that I put in there?
Might have skipped
Koei
it.
Tecmo's president would love to see a Super Mario Muso game.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised though. That could be fun.
One thing we did leave out though, that Sega is wanting to produce like some sort of super game.
What's a super game?
I have no idea, but
Yeah.
I don't
that's been
believe
tossed around in the
Sega's
headlines.
like. They say a lot of things and they rarely land. Do you think we could get a Sonic game maybe as one of the Switch's big games for this year?
Not this year. I feel like that would be something for like a year now, because they seem to be pretty happy just doing their smaller franchises and giving it to other companies to kind of mess with.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got that Persona money because they own Atlas, so
Yeah. They need to get more Persona love on Switch. Like that's just gonna
yeah.
be crazy.
Maybe there you go. I mean,
Persona
maybe
5?
out of nowhere, Persona 5 Royal gets announced for the Switch for this fall.
That wouldn't be outside the realm of craziness. I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I feel
That
like that would like solidify some of their holiday plans, like
Yeah.
outside of all those games releasing. Because I mean, it's pretty steady, solid, middle of the road. Like nothing mind blowing, but they're gonna put
Yeah.
up numbers.
That would
got,
definitely be big.
We got Mushroom Warriors here in the chat as the Mario Muso game.
It would be so good, honestly. There's so many characters that you could play as. There's so many moves and I would love just like mashing thousands of Koopas with a hammer. Like that'd just be fun. Koopas and Goombas, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, we already got a turn-based strategy game with freaking Rabbids, so why not?
Yeah. It would be silly, but I don't know how they'd make it work because like a Muso game needs a story. So I don't know how you would make
no,
it.
Mario and RPG, that had a good story. So the Mario and Luigi
Mario
games,
RPG had a good story
Yeah.
because it was in the hands of Square Enix or Squaresoft 20 years ago, and it has never been redone since.
but some of the like Paper Mario, the first and second one were solid. The Mario and Luigi series had fun stories. You don't have to have anything deep. I mean, it's Muso for Christ's sake.
But what if they put like like an overworld to it, and it was like, I wouldn't say watered down, but maybe a little bit more accessible, and like you go here and you have a timer to kill, X amount of enemies in 30 seconds or something, you get a star.
Mm-hmm. And you've got plenty of characters to throw in there from the entire Mario lineage.
They've never done like action 3D Mario though, right? Like there's never been a time where you could just destroy enemy after enemy. Like an enemy was always kind of a strategic placement.
I'm trying to think.
There's nowhere where
Mario is such a blur because there's so many games. I'm trying to think of all the
like the only
things.
times you fight a character in the Mushroom Kingdom is in the RPG entries.
Yeah.
But I think they could do it if they could do anything if they put their mind to it.
Yeah.
RPG says, do you guys think they'll do a Game & Watch Zelda for the 35th?
I could see that.
I'd be on board, but I would rather if they put in more games than just the paltry 2 that they put on the Mario one. Like, I would like to see, well, Zelda 1, Zelda 2.
No, not Zelda.
That's
2.
what I want. I want a remake of Zelda 2.
That would
like a proper damn remake of that game.
Maybe they do like a release of like the Game & Watch. Maybe there's like multiple Zelda Game & Watch handhelds. I think that could, and they'd probably all sell out.
If you did one that had Link to the Past on it, people would mind.
Hall asks, speaking of Royale, what do you guys think of Musu games, especially Jason, because he has great tastes? I love Musu games.
I do. I don't like all of them, but I like a lot of them. I to this day, I'm going to stand by it. I want a Xenoblade Muso game. Like, that series is perfect for it. And I would literally just throw my money at the screen to have that.
There's the next Muso game I want is the Samurai Warriors that's coming out.
Yeah.
How about you, Greg? Do you like Muso games?
Yeah, I'm a fan, but I'm not like a diehard fan.
I actually literally just before you asked me to be on the stream tonight, I popped on my Switch and I popped in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and I brought up a map because I'm going to start hunting all the little the Koroks.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because there's a ton of them in there.
I'm trying to think if there's something that'll help you out with that.
Oh, there's a map on IGN that I found that gives each stage and gives all of like the locations up.
Okay, I know that you eventually unlock skills that help you find things. I don't know if it's Koroks, but there are hidden treasures in all the levels as well. And there is something that you can eventually unlock just by progressing that'll unlock all the treasures. So when you're in the level on the map, it'll show you where the treasures are.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, that would help. I have the thing that tells me how many I've collected, but it won't show on the map. Yeah.
So as you progress, it'll show up on the map as like a starter, like, oh, you get this ability. It's really good. What do you think next game will be now that they've been acquired?
I keep forgetting about them.
Yeah, the Canadian studio.
Yeah, and they're well. Let's see. What Luigi's Mansion was their last one?
That's all they do. Just Luigi's Mansion.
No, they've done other stuff, but yeah, that's their major. What would I like to see them on?
Ethan became a sponsor. Welcome, Ethan, and thank you for sponsor. I don't even know what that means. How do you sponsor this channel?
I don't know, but thank you, Ethan.
Sick.
We have our first sponsor.
What would next level?
Wait, that
New
might be
Punch-Out.
tied. That might be tied to the HeyJ account. I think he became a sponsor to HeyJ. Sorry, guys.
Oh, there you go.
I think they're gonna. I think they're
I'm
being
having trouble thinking.
Well, they've
Like,
they've only
what
done
they would-
Luigi's Mansion, honestly. So I think they're gonna get tossed a new project.
Well, no, they had Punch Out was theirs. They did I think the soccer was them.
Yeah,
The
Mario
two
Strikers.
Strikers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
these are all old IPs.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it gives them.
They did Federation
it's not like
Force.
they haven't done them
There you
before.
go. They did Federation
and you know
Force.
what? Screw the haters. That's actually a good game.
I could see them take on maybe the Mario and Luigi franchise that got Alpha Dream, I think, went bankrupt.
But an RPG, I feel like that would be someone like Camelot, who does the Golden Suns. It would make more sense to give them a Mario and Luigi.
Maybe. If you look at okay, so I assume if you want to have relevant skills, you want to look at maybe the last max max 10 years of development to know like what kind of resources they have. So if you look at the last few games, they have all their games are pretty much 3D, like require 3D models, 3D levels. When did Punch Out? Punch Out was 2009. So a lot of
Didn't
those.
they make a good Captain America too for Sega?
They made Super Soldier, Captain America Super Soldier,
It was good.
Yeah,
for the
they're a
PS3.
good, solid company.
So I don't know anything about that. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, they also worked on.
That's a light gun shooter on the Wii. I have it. It's actually pretty good.
Okay. So you're probably right that they wouldn't do an RPG. That's pretty left field. They also did Transformers Cybertron Adventures,
That one I did not like.
also on the Wii.
Yeah.
So they haven't done much. Like the more recent stuff is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon 3DS, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Federation Force. So not heavy.
Honestly, if you switch up the art style a bit, I would be on board with like some tweaks. Federation Force would be a great online title for the Switch. Maybe rebrand the name of it so people don't immediately recoil from the Federation Force titling.
Yeah.
But as a multiplayer game, I'm not sure if you've ever played it, but it played very much like a...
Wasn't it called something else before it was called Federation Force? Like, it was revealed as not a Metroid game at first.
Oh no, it was a side game, Blast Ball, which is essentially it's Rocket League in the Metroid universe.
So that's what they should call it.
3-on-3.
They should just call it Blast Ball.
No. They did that during the competition that year, the World Championship or whatever, and people were like, what the hell is this? And then after that is when they announced Federation.
So
But the
R2,
Federation Force portion of it is a really solid, like, 4-player. It almost has like a Diablo style like system in it. Yeah.
so some people are in the chat are saying Mario Strikers Charge, but that came out in 2007. I just don't think they have the teams or the in-house knowledge left.
I mean, when it comes to soccer, all you've got is EA shitting out like 10-year-old titles onto the Switch. So, I mean, Strikers would be a good one to throw in there, and as a Mario theme, it would sell.
Probably. I mean, they're making a tennis game and a golf game, so
Yeah.
Strikers
Don't
is
hate.
probably.
I mean, I would argue Strikers is one of the more enjoyable Mario sports titles.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So, those are our thoughts. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. But anything this week to be excited about in either of your worlds?
Go
I've
first,
got
Greg.
a small video that I'm gonna put out on TikTok. And thank you to anybody that I mentioned that last week, and I got a couple new ones like right after the show. I don't know if it was anybody here, but I started posting some stuff over on my TikTok. You can find me there, under Dynamite Giraffe. The same with Instagram and Twitch. I don't know what I'm gonna do next
It's
on my Twitch.
explosive content. Go on. Cringe +1.
I'll add links to your TikTok, and
Yeah.
I think I got your Twitch down below here. But
And for being such an old person on the platform, I really like it. I've already got some comments from people, just talking about games and just an outlet to put up my videos and stuff. But other than that, you can find me still covering news and things of that nature over on PCinvasion.com.
Very cool. How about you, Treon?
I'm continuing to do this. Obviously, I'm going to be shifting more of the focus over to the audio version of the podcast, and we're getting a little bit more listenership over there.
Cool.
I'll be rolling back the clips to maybe 2 or 3 per week, and more just fun type of clips instead of like the new stuff. And I think in our banner I've added links to the link tree. I did a couple other updates, but I can't remember them all.
Very cool. So check the channel page for all of that.
Yeah.
Over on the Hey J brand, I think I have a Monster Hunter Rise journal going up tonight, right after this podcast. Monster Hunter World journal going up by Wednesday. I just put up I put up an old Assassin's Creed video that I did 4 years ago and I just re-uploaded it with a new thumbnail. The old one, after 4 years, had 130 views. This one has 1,100.
I was wondering why the audio sounded weird. I mean, my friend, she absolutely adores that game, so I threw it at her and said, did you hold him up at gunpoint to put this up? Because she keeps trying to convince me about how great that game is.
I had a friend who said it was criminal. I had put so much effort into that style to try it, and it flopped hard when I launched it. And for all these years, my friend was like, you got to put it up again. You got to put it up. I'm like, no, that's not fair. I shouldn't do that. It's there if people want to discover it. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just try it. And of course, to get 10 times more views, I'm like, hey, there's something to be said here.
And hey, it helps mix up so we don't get nothing but Monster Hunter all week.
I'm thinking of you guys. Yeah. So there's that.
Castlevania.
Well, I need to play that again. Or watch it.
Did you watch?
No, I have not.
Did you start watching the new season?
I have not. It's mature content, so I have to watch it.
I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm loving it more than I thought that I could have. I think this is really going to wrap up well, so.
Oh, cool. The thing is,
I'm really excited for it.
Lords of Shadow DLC doesn't count as another game. I need more time for stream, and actually it might happen soon because I've been thinking a lot about Monster Hunter Stories too. And I was going in thinking I'm just going to replace a Monster Hunter stream with stories, but I'm like, dude, RPGs don't usually stream well. They're not good streaming games. So I might end up playing Monster Hunter Stories offline, and then I can get back to streaming non-Monster Hunter streams and a Monster Hunter stream. But this week is Monster Hunter streams.
You can go the route of, maybe start streaming, do some of the big story things and push through, and then do offline for the grinding between the story segment.
I don't know anything about the game, so I got to try it first. But otherwise, if you want to join me streaming, twitch.tv/HeyJOfficial is where I stream Rise on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. and Monster Hunter World on Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and multiplayer streams usually on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Yep. All right. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week. Same time, same channel. And until then, keep it classy, or as Greg would say,
keep it crassy.
or as Treon would say,
A little bit of both.
have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.